if you've been following me for a while, you know that my word of the year is flourish. And I think sometimes as women, when we go through a season of change or a season of preparation, sometimes because of the things that we have been through in the past and because of our strong desire not to ever experience anything like that again, we can distance ourselves from other women. We can distance ourselves from the people in our lives who care about us. And we can do it, one, because we feel like we are protecting ourselves. And to an extent, you absolutely need to protect yourself when you are in a time of deep change. And I'm talking about emotional change, I'm talking about mental change, and I'm talking about spiritual change, because that is the core of who you are. I'm not talking about changing your wardrobe or your relationship or your job or those types of things, because that's actually an outward expression of the mental, emotional, and spiritual change that you're going through. And you know this because if you've ever changed your hair after a breakup, or you've ever decided to lose or gain weight as a result of a life experience, you know that emotionally it's going to affect the things that we do in our lives. But I don't want that to be the reason why you're doing it, right? It could be a catalyst, it can be the jumping off point, but I want us to be really mindful about why we're doing the things that we do and to go about it in a healthy way. So I'm saying this to say, don't distance yourself from the people who honestly love you. This is why I talk about the 3 daily appointments: your appointment with God, your appointment with yourself, and your appointment with others. When you keep those first 2 appointments, that third appointment, when you have to show up in the world and you have to do the things, you have to be the wife and the mom and the employee or the business owner or whatever it is that you have to do, you've already set the foundation and you already know who you are, and you're stepping out into the world fully yourself. And that's the point where we all want to get. We don't want to be led by social media. We don't want to be told who we are. We want to know who we are, right? And not look at other women. That's the next thing that I was going to talk about. We look at other women as our competition, when other women are not our competition. They are actually allies, right? But if we can get to a point where we're honest with ourselves, if we can get to a point where we truly understand what our thoughts and our feelings and our vision is for our life, it makes it easier for us to partner with other women who can help us along the journey, and then also who we can help. Because when you become secure in who you are as a woman, you no longer see other women as competition, right? And I think that so many of us see other women as competition, and it's blocking us from creating beautiful partnerships, beautiful friendships that can actually enhance our journey as we walk towards our vision, right? But it's important to trust yourself. And if you are not spending time with yourself, and you're not giving yourself opportunities to show yourself how good you can be to you, you will always look outside of yourself to fulfill that. And we have to get to the point where we are healthy enough to question ourselves. We are healthy enough to challenge ourselves. We are healthy enough to cheer for ourselves without feeling strange, without it feeling weird. So I want to encourage you today, if you have not yet had your daily appointment with yourself, because a lot of us, we're good at keeping the daily appointment with God, and we're good at keeping the daily appointment with others, but somewhere in the middle, that's you. Have you kept your daily appointment with yourself? Have you sat with yourself? It doesn't have to take an hour. It can be 5 minutes. And I encourage you to journal. Write these things down, because when you write these things down, what you're doing is you're creating a log of your thoughts and your feelings, your emotions, your plans. When something's important, you write it down, right? And some of you have been using your journal almost like a dumping ground or like a punching bag. You get rid of all your thoughts and your feelings and all the negative stuff, and you write it down, and then you close the book and you walk away, as if that journal is now supposed to just house all that negativity. If you don't deal with it, if you don't find a way to make sense of it, what's going to happen is, even though you've written it down, even though cognitively it feels like it has exited your brain, even though it may be giving you clarity, now what are you going to do about it? My word of the year is flourish, and this year it's actually a framework, so it's an acronym, and the S in flourish is strategy. So what is your strategy for dealing with those feelings, dealing with those thoughts and those emotions that come up that you don't like? Because writing it down alone is not going to cut it, and you already know that because you've written so many times. I'm going to tell you a story. Years ago, I was doing just that, and I was writing things down in my journal. I was writing, like crying into my journal, basically. I don't know how else to put it. And there were literally pages that were stained from me bawling as I'm writing, and then the ink is smearing all over the place. And one day I went to write something down. Something had happened. I was really upset, and I just wanted to go through, what I usually go through and write down those thoughts. And I found myself filing through my journal and going back. And I realized that I had written this thing over and over and over and over again. And I didn't want to write it one more time. I wanted to actually deal with the issue and not just write it down every time I got upset, because I was basically keeping a record of what I didn't want in my life. And every time I wrote it down, it was like I was reinforcing this thing, and I was saying, this is the way that my life is going. This is the way that my life is going. This is the way that my life is going. And then it became the way that my life was going. You understand? So I took all those journals and I put them in a metal bin, and I poured nail polish remover on it, and I lit a match and I burned them all. And that was the last time that I journaled like that. And I didn't know it then, but that's when the vision sequence was birthed, because of something I needed for myself. Journaling is beautiful, journaling is great, but it's not the answer. The clarity that we get needs to give us the courage to make the changes that we need to make to live the lives that we want to live. I was getting up every single day and I had pockets of joy. I did. I had pockets of joy, but I had pockets of pain as well. And those were becoming bigger and bigger and bigger every day because I didn't know how to deal with me. And I was making goals and I was creating vision boards and nothing was happening because I didn't know how to deal with me. And the truth is, you can do all the things, but you know how it feels when you close your eyes at night and you can't stop the thoughts. You can't stop the worrying. You can't stop feeling inadequate. You know what it feels like to cry in the shower because it seems like that's the only safe space. It's not the only safe space. Learning you is one of the most beautiful things you can do. And it's one of the most important things that you need to do in your life. You are worth discovering. You are worth discovering. I hope this helps. Blessings on your journey. I'll talk to you soon.